All right, Sedge, what's up? That's some pretty nice material you got there.
It would be called wood.
Nice wood.
So, do you know what kind it is? What species?
Wood.
Wait a minute.
Hardwood.
It's cherry.
I was gonna guess cherry, yeah.
So we're gonna use this. I just thicknessed this on the planer. And you see this line right here? Mm-hmm. It's called snipe. And guess what that's caused from? My planer blades need to be changed.
It's not being sharp.
Or sharpened, okay, because there's a nick in there. All right, so let's get back at it. So you're gonna see on this is one side, this is the other side. If we had just chosen this side, we wouldn't have to worry about the coloration of the wood. But I wanna rip this lighter wood out.
Okay.
Okay, it may not even show up because it's probably about that much of it after we refine it, but let's just get a good blank to start with. So what I did is, this is about 20 millimeters in. So what I did is I flipped it around, and this is how I set up my fence. I could take a few measurements, but when I set it up, this is not a big deal, but I just take it like this, bring it over, and on this fence, you lock it here first.
Okay.
And then this locks the back end right there. Now, setting up the height of the blade, okay, the way I was taught when I was a kid, I mean, you could raise this all the way up, and I'm gonna come down here, okay? You could raise it all the way up, okay, but that's too much blade showing. Now, this, for me, is not enough, okay? What I always do is I try to get like 5 teeth exposed. Oh. That's what I was taught. So that's just a rough adjustment. That's usually the sweet spot, and I get great dust collection with it. Okay, so basic safety. Always have safety glasses on. If you want hearing protection, that's great. We're just gonna be making a couple of rips.
Okay.
One of the things I always do is I always look behind the blade to see I have no obstructions.
Okay.
Okay, I also look to make sure in the shop where now it's not just me, it's all of us, there's nobody behind me.
Okay.
Okay, you've often heard of that one thing called?
Kickback.
Okay, now, the reason kickback happens is I could take this just like this, look. There's gonna be no kickback, okay? Kickback always happens back here on this tooth. You always have a splitter because you'll see, and we call it case hardened woods. You'll see it a lot of spruce, a lot of pine, where it either splays open as I'm cutting, you can see it happening, or it closes. And if it starts to close, that's called case, both of them are case hardening, okay? It pinches that riving knife. So, in explaining all of that, the most important thing you have to do when you're ripping on a table saw is this piece. It's called a captured cut. This is your fence, this is your board. You never leave this board hanging here. It always has to be pushed through.
Okay.
That's why we have push sticks.
Yep.
So the other thing, this is my favorite tip for somebody at a table saw. You never turn on that button, ever, the power button, until you know your push stick is right here.
Okay.
Okay, so I always go like this. I go, push stick, okay, I can turn it on. All right, so I'm gonna start with my hand, okay, and as I push it through, okay, I have pressure here, all right? I reach for my push stick, and I hook it here, okay? And I'm looking at the fence, and I push that part all the way through. I do not touch that piece. I turn it off, just like that. I wait for that to stop. I kind of point to it so I know, and there you go. And that's how you rip a piece of wood through a table saw. Awesome. Okay, so let's cut our blanks. Now I showed you how to rip. Okay. Okay, let's look at this. These, I gotta cut 2 pieces before we trace them and cut them out. Okay. And we're gonna cut them at 180 millimeter.
180, you got it.
Okay, so we can come over here. Chris, come on over. So we can see this, and we'll actually set the fence. I'm looking right here, and I'm gonna bring it right over here. So So here's my 0, and I'm going to bring it at 160, 180, right here. Okay, just like this, and I lock it in and I tighten it here. I do have micro adjust. I'll show you how to set that up sometime. Okay. But now we just rip that. This is the part. See, always label your material. That's the part that goes against the fence.
All right.
Okay. All the way through. Good. Turn it off. You see how that wants to grab a little? Yeah. Okay. When it's a thinner piece, you gotta be very careful. Okay. Okay. I kind of, as it's wobbling, I kind of step away, just in case it catches. I very rarely have had that. All right. That's not the part you have to worry about. That's the part that has to go all the way through. Okay. So there you go. Good job. All right. All right, Sedge, what you got there? Well, when I was getting some blanks ready for the bow saw build, I instead of sending the 5/4 constantly through the planer, saved my planer blades a little bit. I resawed it, and I brought this down close to 3/4, but I was left over with these blanks. Oh. Instead of tossing them, I figured, you know what, we'll make some veneer with it. Okay. Okay, so when I look at this, I got one good edge. Well, I want 2 good edges. So we'll take it to the table saw. Okay. This, of course, we'll mark them. This will go up against the table saw. This will as well. There's a couple pieces in here, book matched. We're gonna join these together. These are about 6mm, roughly 1/4 inch. All right, I think this is actually the board. Yeah, look at that. That's the board that came off of. Huh. Pretty cool. Yeah. That would go against the table saw fence. Okay. And this will go against the table saw fence. Oh. But these are all different widths, right? Yeah. So what do I gotta do? What's the thinnest or what's the narrowest one? You guess.
Let's say probably this one.
Okay, so let's analyze this really quick. It's still a nice board. Okay, so what we'll do is we need to take a little bit off on this side. This is basic woodworking 101, but we're about 95. Let's just do, so they're all consistent, and that's the beauty of the table saw. You get perfect parallel rips. Perfect parallel So I'm going to rip these. We'll set up the table saw at, it looks like 90mm.
Sounds good.
Okay, and we'll rip each one at 90mm. So Big D, I set the fence at 90mm. Yep. Okay, that's the width that we're gonna take them all down to. So we gotta set the height of the blade. Do you remember how to do that?
Yes. We wanna make sure that we adjust the height of the blade so we have 5 teeth above the material.
Okay, so go ahead and I'll have you set it this time. It's all a learning process, brother. And Chris has that, just like that. Man, oh man, Big D, 1, 2, 3, you 4. Are in, brah.
All right.
You see that? Mm-hmm. You never throw these away.
No.
It's a good paint stirring stick. So Big D, great job on the table saw. They all lined up really nice. Maybe just a quick hit with a hand plane to maybe knock out some of that spacing in there. But there are a bunch of different woods that we were gonna toss. So what I'll do is, this is the layout I like. Okay, so when we go into glue up, whoopsie, I just know which boards go with which boards.
Yeah.
Okay, so nice. As we always say,
be positive,
stay sharp.